Well, who else is writing? I don't know many people who can read in my family, let alone write. And she said, I'll send you some stuff. So about a week later, I received a package in the mail, and inside was 10 typed pages. And it was the diary of a man named Floyd Barker, who would be my great-great-great-great-grandfather on my mother's side. Had never seen this document, had no idea it existed. And I was blown away by it. Here, let me read you a sentence. On the return trip, William cut a cottonwood withe at the river and used it for a whip, and after arriving at the home near Old Pigeon, he stuck it into the damp earth near the spring, and the resulting tree blew down only a few years ago, and saplings may yet be found about the stump. Beautiful sentence. All my years of graduate school to write a sentence like a man who is just a farmer, and from all records not a particularly good one. But I had this thought, I know why I write. I had read books, and I had this idea I would get an agent, and I would publish books, and there's this whole thing that I would do. But he was just this farmer at a very small plot of land, no education to speak of. Why is he writing? And writing like that sentence with care, with intent. He'd go on in that passage to write about a wedding that's near that very tree they planted. There's care. There's intent. For pages and pages, writing about weddings and tragedies, awful things and beautiful things, the profound moments of a man's life. So around that same time, I was rereading the diary of a young girl, the diary of Anne Frank. And I had kind of a revelation. So let me read a little bit from Anne. It says, "A voice sobs within me. And there you are, and that's what's become of you. You're uncharitable, you look supercilious and peevish. People dislike you, and all because you won't listen to the advice given you by your own better half. Oh, I would like to listen, but it doesn't work. If I'm quiet and serious, everyone thinks it's a new comedy. Then I have to get out of it by turning it into a joke, not to mention my own family, who are sure to think I'm ill and make me swallow pills for headaches and nerves and feel my neck and head to see whether I'm running a temperature, ask if I'm constipated, and criticize me for being in a bad mood. I can't keep that up. If I'm watched to that extent, I start by getting snappy, then unhappy, and finally I twist my heart round again so that the bad is on the outside and the good is on the inside, and keep on trying to find a way of becoming what I would so like to be and what I could be if there weren't any other people living in the world." This is on the very last page. These are the last words we get from Anne Frank before her family is taken away. And what's astounding about it, where I live in Boise, Idaho, we have the Anne Frank Memorial, and there's a statue of this girl on a ladder peering out her attic window, and it is surrounded by all these quotes by major civil rights leaders, tremendous artists. She was just a 13-year-old girl. She was just a 13-year-old girl talking about her moods and the things she was seeing and trying to make sense of the world. The great grief of the human experience is that we are all separate. We are separated by the domes of our skulls and by the fabric of our skin, and every day we struggle to be understood and to understand those who are not us. And small things. How's your day going? How's your pork chop? We literally don't know. Let alone the big things. Love, grief, fear, joy. When my wife and I were dating and we had gotten to the point where we knew we kind of loved each other, we were reticent to say so. Because in our younger years, we had both had our hearts kicked around the block a little bit. And I remember saying to my wife, if there was some way you could become me for just a moment, to see the way I see you, and to know the way I feel when I'm around you, you would know that everything was going to be okay. But we can't do that. We can't do that. So we need help. We need some way to bridge the gap between one consciousness and another. And if there's a great high purpose to what we do, it's exactly that. It starts like this. Forks of light slicking up out of the east, flying over you in what's left of night. Its black waterfalls, its craven doubt dissolves like gravel as the sun appears, trailing clouds of pink and green wool, igniting the fields, turning the ponds to plates of fire. And the creatures there are dark flickerings you make out one by one as the light lifts. Great blue herons, wood ducks shaking their shimmering crests, and knee-deep in the purple shallows a deer drinking. As she turns, the silver water crushes like silk, shaking the sky, and you are healed then. From the night, your heart once more, and you're ready to rise and look, to hurry anywhere, and to believe in everything. And we have the consciousness of Mary Oliver, and thank goodness for it, because the world is better. Or we have, I'm a 33-year-old man applying for a job as an elf. I often see people in streets dressed as objects and handing out leaflets. I usually avoid leaflets, but it breaks my heart to see a grown man dressed as a taco. So if there is a costume involved, I tend to not only accept the leaflet, but to accept it graciously, saying, thank you so much, and thinking, you poor son of a bitch. And we have the consciousness of David Sedaris, and thank goodness for it, because the world is made better. And we come back to Anne. I want to go on living even after my death, and therefore I am grateful to God for giving me this gift, this possibility of developing myself and of writing, of expressing all that is in me. I can shake off everything if I write. My sorrows disappear, my courage is reborn, and that is the great question, will I ever be able to write anything great? Will I ever be a journalist or a writer? I hope so. Oh, I hope so, so very much. For I can recapture everything when I write, my thoughts, my ideals, and my fantasies. So I go on with fresh courage. I think I shall succeed because I want to write. She had no idea. 40 million copies. 35 different languages. She had no idea. Just a 13-year-old girl writing, trying to be understood. Trying to understand the world that she was in. To be understood. To understand those who are not you. In a world where the capacity and the desire to empathize is withering, what is more important? What is more noble? So, that's the answer I should have given. That's why I'm here, and that's why you're here too. To all our graduates, and on behalf of the staff and faculty of Sierra Nevada College, I'd like to say we are proud of you. We cannot wait to see how your voices will be used to make an impact with your stories, your poems, your essays, and your memoirs. And may words work wonders in your life.
Thank you for those wonderful words. Chris Millis is joining me on the stage for the moments you've all been waiting for. And I have to officially invest in him the power and authority to confer the degrees today. Chris, by the authority granted to me by the Sierra Nevada College Board of Trustees, who reserves the sole right to grant degrees at this institution, I confer upon you the power and authority to grant the MFA degrees as here printed in the program and upon the quality of the work affirmed by the faculty here in attendance. You may now take the microphone.
Thank you, Shannon. I'd like to call up Gail Brandeis so that she may introduce her student, Courtney Birdie.
I saw Courtney's back tattoo before I ever met her or saw her face. It's a beautiful tree of life, and I was mesmerized by it. And when I recently had the pleasure to read her thesis, a tree of life appeared in a pivotal scene, and it felt like a beautiful melding of author and work. And it was just so clear to me how much of herself Courtney had poured into this beautiful novel. And one thing that really struck me, I watched Courtney grow in confidence as a writer over her time here. Her work grew so much more assured and strong, and it started out strong, but it just grew, and I could see her grow with it. And her novel is very much about a woman who comes into her own power, and I think that's exactly what Courtney did here. So, congratulations, Courtney. I'm so proud of you.
There we go. That's what we're all looking for.
I'd like to introduce Laura Wetherington so that she can speak about our student Bryce Bullins.
I first met Bryce Bullins 5 years ago when he was an undergraduate at SNC Tahoe. He would be habitually stationed in the library, studying continental philosophy, Shakespeare, and reluctantly, math. He excelled as a critical writer. Since our first meeting, he's turned his focus to poetry, where he has excelled in equal fashion. The poems he composed for his graduate thesis are spare, concise vignettes and distilled insights that hit you with the white-hot precision of an acupuncturist needle. Jack Spicer said, "The person who writes the poetry emerges, tentatively, like a hermit crab from a conch shell. The poet, for that instant, ceases to be a dead man." It is a pleasure watching Bryce come alive in his work and to see the space he allows for the reader to come alive too. Bryce, the thing I want to say to you today is that you can do whatever you set your mind to. The world is open to you. Congratulations on having mastered this moment, and congratulations for all the potential of the next moment.